afternoon. This is Josh from Operational Speed Supply. Tonight we've got special guest Tom O'Gorman from Tomo Racing and Driving School. What's going on, Tom?
How's it going, Josh?
Oh, it's good, man. How are things going, man?
It's good. We were just talking about how we get into this race season stuff and it stays so busy, but I mean, we get to do the coolest stuff that I can think of. So I don't know how I could complain. We've been doing events for weeks and weeks and weeks straight. So it's kind of nice to chill out on a Monday night.
Oh yeah, man, it definitely is. It's funny when you're running hard, like, we do racing week in and week out, your week pretty much starts on Wednesday, traveling to get to the track. Once you get to the track, getting prepped, running over the weekend, and then you're home Sunday night, usually late Sunday night. So
yeah,
Monday's almost it's almost our day off.
It really feels like that. And usually we get really good at cramming 40-hour work weeks into like 3 or 4 days, Monday through Thursday, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, man. Well, we'll go ahead and kick this thing off with a little bit of recap over the weekend. We ran Clarksville Autocross here locally. It was round 3, and the event's been growing steadily. We've hit about 41 cars this past weekend. Beautiful weather. Everyone got at least 8 runs in, and it was competitive. We'll do a quick recap of what we had here, but in our all-wheel drive class, Michael Chandler pulled off the win in his Subaru. A little bit tighter dial-in than Charles Weaver had this time. It was Charles Weaver's pretty much ran away with it. He's running a Tesla Plaid right now, and we haven't moved him into his own class yet because he's the only one there. So we're gonna keep him there as all-wheel drive, and it's impressive to see what he's done with that car. Next up, Brendan Lafarge and his Fiesta pulled off the W in the front-wheel drive class with Wayne Doyle taking second place. Moving down into our rear-wheel drive class, Cameron. I didn't get his last name on the registration, but he has been to a couple of events with us, and he's running a Toyota 86 and pulled off the W. Jeremy Brown in the Corvette pulled off second place in this particular one. He's running a Z06. But and again, our results are based off dial-in, and so it's how close you are to the expected time that you dial in at. So it's based off an average over 4 events. And Jeremy pulled off second place, but not only that, but he was actually the fast time of the day. We give a couple bonus points out to those guys on the fast time of the day. In the truck class, and you know what's funny, we have a truck class and it is competitive. And what's interesting about it is our 2 most competitive guys are running in a Nissan hardbody and an S10, a Chevy S10. And what's awesome about this, the S10's LS swapped, but he's running like 285 tires in the rear and 235s in the front. And he gets it out there and he whips it around. But Edmund Daniels took the win in truck class with Larry Nelson taking second place. So really awesome turnout we had this weekend. As far as points go, Charles Weaver is leading the all-wheel drive class right now with 152. He's got 150 points. And then Wayne Doyle is leading our front-wheel drive class with 146. John Turner taking second right now, and Kane Robert taking second, both tied for second with 126. In our rear-wheel drive class, we have Trice Pulley with 118 points, with Ella Plum in second place with 118 points. Very, very close race in the rear-wheel drive class. And then Sport, which is your Miatas, your Corvettes, things like that. Jeremy Brown's leading with 146. Robert Foley's in second with 110. He's got a pretty good spread there. And then moving with our last class, the truck class, Larry Nelson is in the lead right now Edmund Daniels is in the lead right now with 148 points, and Larry Nelson with 144. So it's a pretty awesome setup we've got going on competition wise. It's a tight field, and you get everything from, we had a Porsche Cayman GT out there running this weekend, to a Nissan hardbody to a 1981 Toyota Corolla. So it is literally a little bit of everything that's running out there, and it's a lot of fun. do a little recap too. We had two of our operational group drivers. They were up in Pennsylvania at UMI Motorsports Park, which one of the tracks that we sponsor is from Operational Speed Supply. Tim Gordon ran really well in the in his class with his 2010 Camaro. Ended up pulling out, making it to the shootout. Unfortunately, lost the first round. Yeah, bing bong right there. Lost the first round in his Camaro, but we're getting that. He's getting that thing dialed in. He moved to a set of Viking coilovers this year, and it's really awesome to see how he has been able to improve himself and the car at the same time. And then Chris Brown unfortunately blew a clutch. He's running a Ford Contour this weekend, and the poor guy has had a ton of car trouble this year. Last year he was in an unfortunate accident with his Mustang, in the process of rebuilding a new one. But then at the same time, he got in the Fiesta, and he's rocking that Fiesta, and they blew something up in that thing, oil leaking or something. Last weekend, and this weekend he was in a Contour and the clutch went out. So he has had a rough year for mechanical issues. But it's been an exciting season for everybody involved though. So that kind of wraps that up. Tim Gordon posts that he's been referred to as the Walmart brand Tomo. They call him Timbo.
I had a guy call me Timo forever because I don't think he knew my name. So he can have that one.
Yeah, right on.
Does he have the glasses? That's the key. I put mine on to look smart today, but he's got to have some sort of signature glasses.
Tim, if you're still listening, brother, you got to get the glasses, my friend.
But get your own color. You can't have blue.
So, well, you know what, though Tim is a highway patrolman he's a state trooper in Pennsylvania, so he's got to have at least aviators.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So, well, right on, man. Well, Tom, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to you. The big purpose of tonight was to talk about the exhibition event that we are running in July, on July 10th, here at Clarksville Autocross. So, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you, man. Let's what do we got planned?
Yeah, super excited. I don't even know where to start. So Josh and I met each other through some military programs. I'm sure people are aware that you're involved with the military, and I got to know that you do autocross. I started autocrossing about 15 years ago, and it spiraled into a career in professional motorsports for about 5 years. And now I just make my living as a driver coach and still do any motorsports event that I can. But started recently working with a new group called ASM, or AS Motorsports. It's a group up here in Wisconsin where I live. No, it's not cold still, but almost. And they like to do these really fun events, and some of the stuff that we talk about is just get out there and drive. You should be exposed to all these different styles of driving. You should be exposed to as much seat time as you can, different formats as you can, and then getting to know you, putting on your own autocross events and stuff. This kind of light bulb went off with this new event format that we created over the last 2 years called ASM Drivers Ed. And we realized that probably the best place to take it out of our local club area here in central Wisconsin is one of the best ones that has come up so far is down in Clarksville, Tennessee at the fairgrounds where you guys have your events. So we're really excited to bring that event. It's coming in July 10th. And it essentially links essentially autocross and drifting. So grip driving and drift driving into the same format with both an emphasis on driver training and driver development, but also some competition. So it's fun for both. And basically what we do to make it simple is set up an autocross course, but we add these style elements to it. Something like a pin cone turnaround where you do a 360, or we take pool noodles that stick off of a stack of cones or something that you have to go out and kind of wall tap the pool noodles. And for every stylistic element, there's a point value assigned to that, and every point is worth a certain amount of time. And the fastest grip run and the fastest or best executed drift run will always equal the same raw time. And the drift runs or the drift elements are judged by a panel of judges, and you get a certain number of points from the judges that subtracts from your time. And we do a whole kind of practice throughout the morning to get used to what the course looks like at a normal autocross event. You kind of get a bunch of runs. But you also have these pin cones or these noodle taps, or sometimes we'll do like a ring around the rosy kind of 360. One of the new ones we want to try is, I'll tell you about that in a second. We have some new ideas we want to try. Basically, when you create this course, you have an option to drive it as a drift course or a grip course or both. You can kind of pick and choose based on your car. You know, if you have a rear-wheel drive car with a stock handbrake, maybe you can pull off drifting around the 360 ring around the rosy.
Yeah.
And the judges will always assign the correct points value to subtract time from your raw run. Mm-hmm. And it turns into this really fun format that kind of promotes driving in a different way in certain elements, or just is a fun way to come out in autocross. So it is at its root just an autocross. If you want it to be just an autocross, it's exactly what you would expect. But on top of that, there's these layers, and we're super excited to have you helping us out from the Clarksville Autocross side and the OSS side. We're hoping to get the Clarksville Drift Club involved and a bunch of our network of people that are involved with, Grid Life and SCCA Autocross, whatever groups want to come out and play with that format. It's perfect for all of that. And my favorite part is, like, we do up here locally, we typically do it over a 6 or 7 hour day. The first 3 to 4 hours are just straight up practice. And after 3 or 4 hours of open track practice, some of the people are getting a little routine. They kind of know the course, and someone with an FRS will grab the handbrake and try to whip around the pin cone. And then they kind of suck at it, but you have 3 more hours of practice. So you just keep practicing. And it gets you better at a different style of driving that a normal autocross course wouldn't normally let you try. And eventually you figure out what's the best combination of elements. Sometimes it's better to go way over there and tap the pool noodle. Sometimes it's better to cut the distance and run the autocross course. Figure out, drifters learn how to do some grip driving, and autocrossers learn how to do a little bit of that more flamboyant style if they want, but they don't have to. So it's a little bit of choose your own adventure.
That's awesome. It sounds like a blast. I'm already looking at throwing my old BFG Comp 2 ASs back on the car just to go have a little bit of fun with this thing.
There you go. Yeah, we have some trainers, is what we call them. We have a 350Z, a G35, and an MR2 Spider that we always bring out and just run as many runs as possible. Nice. And it's a little bit different format and they each, we got a mid-engine car for some practice. The Z and the G both have handbrakes and angle kits on them. So if you want to do a little drifting, they can, but they are also really good at grip driving. And we'll be bringing those down. Like we just try to go for as much seat time. So it's a little different than a normal event format where you get a certain number of runs and your best run counts. Typically what we'll do is a whole morning into the afternoon of practice. And it'll allow you to kind of dial into what the course looks like, but also instead of having runs and heats, it's just an open course typically is what we'll try. And then a competition period at the end where you get a certain number of runs, you get, 2 or 3 runs to deliver your best judged run at the end.
That's awesome. It sounds exciting, and I can't wait to get after it. One of the things that is really neat about Clarksville Autocross is just the wide variety of people that show up. And I think bringing that drift crowd out and kind of bringing everybody together, it's awesome because you see literally any kind of car. I mean, last year we had a guy that was dual purpose with his build in it was a 78 Datsun B210, 76 Datsun B210. Joe, if you're watching, forgive me if I butchered your car, brother. But he runs this thing and he takes it out. He's got a spooled rear end that he'll go out and run it on the drift, and then he'll swap that thing out and he'll come out to the autocross. And God, last year he took second in rear wheel drive and 4th fastest overall. So it's really awesome.
That's super cool. Yeah, you're talking about the Tesla. We just did the One Lap of America probably a month ago now, a little over a month ago. And usually the One Lap of America, if you're not familiar, short version is you go to a different racetrack every day, run a time attack at every track, and you have to compete in the same car on the same tires on track as you drive on the street to the next track. So you do a whole week's worth of time attacks across the country, but you also have to drive the car 3,500 miles on the street. And there's kind of the known competitors coming in, like we know this guy's gonna be quick, this guy's gonna be quick. But there was a Tesla entered that was not really on anybody's radar, and then he goes out on the first time attack day and is the fastest car in both time attack segments.
Wow. what
the hell? And it's a time attack, it's lightly prepped for time attack, but it's a Model S plaid, and it's like a 9.25 second, quarter mile car.
Yeah.
And they put a wing on it and put some bigger wheels and tires on it, some suspension. And the wildest part was you could watch their in-car video. They posted a bunch of it afterwards, and it's got a live horsepower reading on the in-car video overlay. And you see him come out of a corner, and it just whooped straight to 950 horsepower down.
That's incredible.
You're just like, what the hell? But it's pretty cool.
You know, it's nuts. I got to ride in one. We've got a local guy here, Charles Weaver, with one. And when we set up the on-base autocross, he came out and helped set up everything with that. And we ran through the course a couple times in his car just to kind of make sure it flowed well. And I was in awe of just the sheer acceleration that car had, because there was zero slip. I mean, it was just all grip all the way. So,
yeah.
But yeah, speaking of one lap, man, you rocked it this year.
Yeah. Man, it was quite a week. So we were basically neck and neck all week with our teammates from ASM, Andy and Alex, who were in a Honda S2000, but they've done a turbo K-Series swap on it, and they've done a BMW DCT swap into it. So it's a 7-speed paddle shift Honda S2000 time attack car, and we were in a Corvette ZR1. So super different, factory supercar versus this time attack monster build.
Yeah.
And we basically just swapped the lead all week, back and forth. And it came down to the very last day, and we ended up winning by a couple positions, basically, when you do the points with one lap without going into the details of it. So it was super fun. We won it last year, we won it this year, but this year was a lot closer, which made it that much more fun and stressful and, rewarding and all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So we went down, we started in, we always start in South Bend, Indiana, but we went to Nashville this year, South Carolina, Birmingham, Alabama, Hallett, Oklahoma, and then Kansas, and back over through Indiana to South Bend. So it was like 3,300 street miles plus, I want to say like 40 time attack laps, an autocross, a drag strip. You just get a little bit of all that, and I think that's kind of where we come from with this driver's ed stuff. Is you have to be able to do a little bit of all of it, and it can't hurt you even if you never need to do it again. I remember this is kind of a dumb story, but last year I was racing in my race car. It was raining, and I ended up pushing too hard and sliding off track, and my drift instincts kicked in, and I was able to kind of like 360 the car around and get back to the track pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I realized in hindsight, I'm like, if I hadn't been practicing handbrake 360s in my drift car for all year, basically, we were trying to get really good at that. I don't think my instincts would have kicked in to whip the car around and get back to the track quick. I would have probably ended up, coming to a stop, getting myself oriented, and get back to the track.
Yeah.
10 or 15 seconds slower than I did. I ended up winning that race, which I think was a tribute to being able to control the car in a way, even though those instincts just kicked in. And I'll never need to do that on, day-to-day life. But when I needed it, I had it. Yeah,
exactly. And Tim Gordon just commented a few minutes ago, talking about Robert Thorne and how he kills it both at drifting and autocross. Basically asking if the skills overlap. Your story kind of lends to that they definitely do overlap.
They do. I think it's a different application of the same skills, right? So for me, I started drifting for work more than anything about 7 years ago. I got a job working for an events company that Dodge hired, and we were giving drift rides in Hellcats and Vipers.
Oh, man.
So they were factory cars with tons of power, but no angle kits, no drift equipment. And we were just giving rides at, Mecum auctions and Barrett-Jackson auctions and Dodge shows and stuff like that. And what I learned is how to control the momentum of the car and induce the momentum, use the momentum to my advantage and the weight transfer to my advantage to keep the car in a slide, and then utilize the horsepower, obviously, that those cars have to keep it sideways. But it was a lot of the same autocross skills that I already had, and it was around the same time that I started road racing.
That's awesome.
But you have to do it totally different. And for this format, you get to pick whether or not it's good or not. So you could go try to do the pin cone turn in a 360 with the handbrake, or we could try drifting a slalom if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's probably not conducive to the competitive aspect of it, but it gives you the option to try.
It teaches you something.
Yeah, exactly. So, certain cars, like our cars with handbrakes and stuff, we're not using those a lot on this style course versus like a drift course. You would use them all the time and carry lots of angle and distance. And
yeah, that's awesome.
The difference is you have to think like a drifter sometimes at the drift events, and they don't reward racing lines, and they don't reward speed. So that's the difference, is someone like Robert, who's competing at the pro level in drifting, but has pro racing grip experience and autocross experience and national champions and stuff. You have to think differently, because his instincts and mine probably are similar, where we want to cut distance. We want to go as fast as possible. We want to like maximize the timer. And at drift events, they want you to maximize the angle, and the line is literally opposite. They want you on the outside, as much distance and angle as possible, and speed doesn't matter. And it's a totally different mindset, but it's totally the same driving skills.
I'm excited for this. Other than
You ever
some,
drifted on purpose?
I've never drifted on purpose. Well, say on purpose. Sliding around corners. I grew up in northern Utah in a bunch of farming, mountainous area. So
Okay.
my experience with drifting is taking a gravel road at far too fast of a speed and it pickup truck letting the tail slide out. So
Sure.
I've never actually done this on purpose, so I'm excited for it.
We'll have to get you in one of the cars with the handbrakes and stuff. Let you try
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. So Hector Rivera, he's a guy that runs with us here locally, good buddy of mine. He's on our OG team racing with us. He's got a 2015 Indy Miata. Unfortunately, he blew the transmission out about a month ago, and we're looking at getting that thing back on the road and back racing again. But he's just capping on bringing up on the one lap experience that you were talking about. And it says that him and I are going to be, he's going to be putting that in one lap, and we're going to be running together in that thing. So maybe next year, man, we'll be running next year in this ND.
That would be awesome, man. It's such an experience, and it's so different because it takes an autocross day. You kind of know the rhythm of the autocross event when you're going in, and it's only one day. Well, one lap is, by the end of it, it's probably 9 days of commitment, 8 days of competition.
Yeah.
And it's a totally different rhythm. So you have to prepare for it going in to know kind of what the rhythm is, which we can talk about and give you some tips.
Oh, yeah.
But also it takes so long to do. It also, you forget that you're in competition when you start, and then it's like, oh shit, it started. I don't know if I can curse, but and then by the end it's done, and you're like, we're not going to a racetrack tomorrow. We're not. I mean, it takes so much time to come down off of too. It's such a unique event to anything else.
That's awesome. That's exciting, man. We're definitely looking forward to it. So what's next for you guys this year? I mean, we've got this July event, which is going to be a great time, and we're excited about that. But what's coming up beyond that?
We got we do a little bit of everything. I think we're the core of our group. I would say are professional motorsports people who are maybe not in professional racing, but we make our living in racing. So ASM is started by Andy Smedegard. So he's got a race shop up here in central Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Started kind of building this team, which I started racing with them about 1.5 years ago now, almost 2 years ago now. And he runs his race shop. He's got some trackside services that he does when we go to the racetrack together, or with the team. I've started my own driver coaching business that I run full time, and then we also started an events company that we're doing these types of events, rented some tracks throughout the year, that kind of thing. So we have a little bit of everything going on, which means that every weekend is something different. One of our teammates, Robert, is competing full time in Formula Drift. We're competing full time with Grid Life in both Grid Life Touring Cup, which is wheel-to-wheel racing, sprint racing, and also Time Attack.
Mm-hmm.
We have drivers in all of those. Sometimes we have over a dozen cars at the events that Andy primarily focuses on keeping running, and then I'm coaching somewhere between 5 and 10 drivers a weekend. So we keep super busy with that kind of stuff, but we also do the UMI King of the Mountain events. Andy won that in 2020.
Yeah.
And then Robert won it last year. So I keep joking that it's my turn. They better let me win this year. I don't know what I'm get to bring yet, but I might get to bring the Pikes Peak NSX.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Which would be awesome. We do SCCA solo nationals every year. So we have this massive calendar of events that we just kind of keep one to the next to the next to the next to the next, and it keeps us really diverse and visible, hopefully, but also is a ton of fun.
Well,
so
I'll tell you,
what's next? We race at Grid Life Chicago.
Oh, right on.
2 weeks from now, next week.
That's not too far then. That'll be a little bit shorter drive for you.
Yeah, being up here in Wisconsin, we're about 4.5 hours north of that track, and that's our closest track.
Well, that ain't too bad then.
Nah.
Not too bad at all. Well, no. I'll tell you, if you're still looking for a car, I'd be more than happy to let you co-drive with me on the old Camaro, the IROC Z.
That'd be fun.
But I will say this though, if that were the case, you need to get a mullet wig because it's not really racing an IROC unless you have a mullet.
Well, where's your mullet?
Army, got to keep the haircut.
Okay.
That's my excuse at least.
I have to come up with an excuse so I don't have a mullet. Maybe I'll join the Army.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, right on. Well, Tom, I appreciate you coming on tonight. It's always good talking to you and hanging out at the track, and hopefully we can get you down here for something more than just this event, man. Maybe another course or something, or another autocross event in the future.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. We have just in case anybody's watching on the Clarksville page, I linked the event there on the Facebook comments. So if you want to look into the ASM Driver's Ed page, it's on there, and it's got a video of what the event looks like when we do it at our local speedway here. So if you're confused about what it actually looks like, it basically is an autocross course that you can slide through, but there's a video on there to kind of show you what kind of stuff we're going to add to it. So if that makes it make sense and makes it look fun, then hopefully we'll get a lot of people out there. We're going to put a motorsports reg event up soon, so registration should be open hopefully this week. Should be $70 for everybody, any driver who wants to enter. So pretty standard stuff for Clarksville Motocross and Drift. Very similar to what you would see at your normal events, but maybe a little bit extra on top.
Yeah, we're definitely excited about it and looking forward to making this thing happen. Well, good stuff, man. Well, again, Tom, thank you for coming on here tonight and sharing the event and talking a little bit of racing stories and things like that. But by all means, if you ever need anything, please hit me up, and we'll see you down here in we're about a little less than a month out right now.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right. Take care, Tom. For everybody out there, thank you guys for joining in with us. It's always a pleasure to be able to spend our Mondays with you. If anything at all, hit us up at ossparts.com and let us know what you're building. We'll help you get there.